This is ATN Global News. First, the headlines. 8 persons die in boat mishap in Delta State. Governor restores statutory right to Oba of Benin. December 1st deadline stands, NLC. Dangote refinery reduces price to 970 naira per litre. Many killed in renewed sectarian violence. Boniface suffers sidelines with injury. Davido, incredible melody maker. Minaj. Persons have been reported dead, with over 20 others still missing after a boat mishap which occurred at Bennett Island in Baramatu Kingdom, Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State. The incident occurred in the early hours of Saturday while the speedboat was at a very high speed when the victims were returning from a burial ceremony and incidentally had a collision with a big log in the creeks, and in the process the boat capsized. The victims, who did not know how to swim and were without life vests, drowned and went missing as soon as the incident occurred. It took several hours before the body of a 1-year-old was found floating along the creeks. Edo State Governor Mando Bebolo has set up a 14-man state asset verification committee to probe the administration of former Governor Godwin Obaseki. The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Fred Utua, who disclosed this in a statement on Sunday in Benin, said the committee members would be inaugurated on Tuesday, November 26th. Utua listed the members to include Dr. Ernest Umakihe, Chairman, Anslem Ojezua, Deputy Chairman, Frank Edabo, Secretary, while Prince Kasim Afebua, Patrick Igarele and Akerele are members, as well as other members. According to the statement, the committee became imperative to set the state on the path of development and accountable leadership, adding that despite repeated calls for a more holistic database of the assets and liabilities of the previous administration, the Godwin Obaseki-led government came up with very scanty and limited assets and liabilities of the state. The statement also said the decision is in line with the government's campaign promise to ensure probity, accountability and transparency in government and to deepen the governance process. 2 suspect vandals impersonating staff of the Benin Electricity Distribution Company have been arrested at the scene of crimes at Okoro and Cemetery Roads in Benin, Edo State. The head of branding and corporate communications of BEDC Electricity PLC, Mrs. Evelyn Berwin, who this known in a statement on Sunday in Benin, said one of the suspects allegedly vandalized 200 kVA and 500 kVA substations located at Playhouse and Iyayi in the locality. She also said the suspect allegedly paraded himself as a BDC staff with an identity card at the time he was arrested, and the suspect was arrested with 700 mm2 by 7 meters of cable from Playhouse, 200 kVA substation, and 70 mm2 by 7 meters of cable from Iyayi 500 kVA substation. She said the suspect was allegedly caught with 10 meters of copper wire from a 500 kVA power station at 3rd Cemetery, Benin, and was also caught with 20 meters of 500 mm2 cable from a 500 kVA substation at Old Rubber Road in Benin. Biwen also described the suspect's arrest as a significant breakthrough in the fight against vandalism, stressed the company's commitment to combating vandalism. Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo has restored the full statutory right of the Benin monarch Oba Eware II, abolishing the new traditional councils in Edo South created by the last administration. He also backed the federal government's gazette, which gave the ownership of the returned artifact to the Oba's palace, which was looted during the 1897 Benin massacre by the British colonial forces. Also, the state government is withdrawing the letter revoking the concession of the Oba Okenzua II Cultural Center issued by the last administration to be used as a motor park. A statement released by the governor's chief press secretary, Fred Itwa, on Sunday, the administration is restoring the Oba Okenzua Center to a stable condition for its original purpose and also hereby abolishes the new traditional councils in Edo South created by the last administration. The statement said the federal government has also issued a gazette for the recognition of ownership and custody of the repatriated Benin artifacts to Oba of Benin, Oba Eware II. This was done through a government notice number 25 in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Official Gazette number 57, volume 110. The statement also said Governor Okpebholo respects the rights and privileges of the traditional ruler of the Benin Kingdom, Omo Noba Edo Uku, Apolopolo, Oba Eware II, and pledges the support of his administration to ensure the monarch plays his role as a custodian of the rich cultural heritage of the Benin people. Akwa Ibom State government has launched an investigation into the state of boarding facilities in public schools across the state. This comes alongside the suspension of the principal of Presbyterian Senior Science College, Ididep, Ibiono Ibom local government area, after a viral video shows students being served unpalatable meals. A statement released by the State Commissioner for Education, Mrs. Idongesit Etiebet, in Uyo said the investigation was prompted by the disturbing video depicting the substandard meals given to students at the Presbyterian Senior Science College, Ididep. The commissioner also said, although the state's free education policy covers tuition fees but not boarding fees, the welfare and dignity of all students, particularly those in public schools, remain a priority for Governor Omo Eno's administration. Suspected armed robber terrorizing residents along the Nkwo Enugu Road in Njikoka local government area of Anambra State have been killed by security operatives who shot him dead in a gun battle. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Tochukwu Ikenga, who disclosed this in a press statement, said the joint security operatives gunned down the suspect after engaging the gang in a gun duel. The PPR are also acting on incredible information. The Joint Security Task Force demobilized the gang members by responding swiftly to the planned activities of the notorious gang in the area. The command urges residents to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities in the area. Lagos State government has applauded the decision of the Supreme Court's judgment that nullified the National Lottery Act. A statement by the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, on Sunday said the state government said the judgment also reaffirmed the constitutional authority of state governments to regulate lotteries and gaming activities within their jurisdiction. The statement also said the judgment is a historic victory for the rule of law, federalism, and the constitutional rights of states, stressing that the Supreme Court's decision is a significant affirmation that the regulation of lotteries and gaming is a residual matter, falling squarely within the purview of state governments. This is coming after the Supreme Court had on Friday nullified the National Lottery Act 2005 enacted by the National Assembly, adding that the outcome would not have been possible without the vision and resolute backing of the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, whose commitment to integrity in governance has set a benchmark for true federalism. The statement said the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Authority remains the sole regulatory body for lotteries and gaming in Lagos State and will continue to ensure that gaming activities are conducted transparently, responsibly, and in alignment with international best practices. The Lagos State government urges all illegal and unlicensed lottery and gaming operators to immediately approach the government for regularization or face prosecution, adding that the government will foster a conducive environment for legitimate operators and safeguard residents from the adverse effects of unregulated gaming activities. People's Democratic Party's Governors Forum says the party is reviewing the outcome of the Ondo State governorship election. The forum disclosed this after a meeting in Jos, the Plateau State capital. This is coming after the Ondo State's Governor Lucky Aidatua of the ruling All Progressive Congress emerged victorious from the governorship election held last weekend. In a resolution on Saturday, governors elected on the platform of the main opposition party accused the APC of manipulating the exercise, while chairman of the forum and governor of Bauchi State, Governor Bala Mohammed, who addressed the press, said the PDP is still examining the document. The governors also said it was high time the judiciary to save Nigerian democracy, while also calling on the National Assembly to look into the nation's electoral laws to make it difficult for institutional sabotage of the will of the people. The forum further claimed that the PDP governorship candidate in Edo, Asue Ighodalo, won the election, accusing the Independent National Electoral Commission of having manipulated the results in favor of the APC candidate. Kwara State government has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting tech startups and entrepreneurs in building a robust technology ecosystem. The State Commissioner of Business, Innovation and Technology, Mrs. Damilola Yusuf Adelodun, who disclosed this during the 7th edition of the Kwara Build Tech Conference, which marks the conclusion of the 3-day event held in Ilorin, the state capital. According to Yusuf Adelondu, the state government has made significant investments in youth development and technological advancement, adding that the Kwara Build Tech Conference provided startups with a platform to network and grow their businesses. The commissioner also reiterated the government's commitment to collaborate with tech experts, professionals, and entrepreneurs to address key areas such as funding, policy formulation, and innovative programs. The managing director of the Ilorin Innovation Hub, Temi Kolowale, praised Kwara Build for organizing what he described as the largest youth-focused tech gathering in the state. Benue State government has distributed relief materials to the 2024 flood victims within Makurdi, the state's capital. Items distributed were 25 kg rice and 50 kg maize to each of the flood victims, though a number of 2024 flood victims were not released. Making the distribution, the Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, James Lopu, said that the distribution was aimed at cushioning the effects of hunger on the flood victims, and the state government had forwarded the list of flood victims to the federal government through the National Emergency Management Agency. He also said the state government deemed it to assist the victims so as to cushion the effect of the flood before NEMA responds, adding that the agency had fumigated homes of persons affected by the flood and it could not carry out the exercise holistically due to the fact that some people had already returned home. In his response, Chairman, Landlords Association Logo 2, Thaddeus Ahule, applauded the state government for the gesture. Police operatives in Nasarawa State have arrested a 33-year-old suspect, Yusuf Idris, who impersonating the State's Commissioner of Police, CP Shehu Umar Nadada, and defrauding unsuspecting job seekers. The arrest was made by officers from the State Intelligence Department after Idris, a resident of Umbi 1 in Lafia, allegedly defrauded victims under the pretense of securing jobs in the Nigerian Police Force and the Nasarawa State Hospital Management Board. According to a statement from DSP Rahan Nassel, the police public relations officer preliminary investigations revealed that Idris collected 300,000 naira from one victim, Monday Akinde, with a false promise of securing him a position with the Nasarawa State Hospital Management Board after extorting an additional 500,000 naira from Akinde, claiming he could sell a recruitment slot in the Nigerian police force. To lend credibility to his claims, the suspect brought the victim to the entrance of the State Police Command headquarters in Lafia, pretending to have access to recruitment opportunities, and was arrested after suspicious behavior and subsequent investigation revealed his fraudulent activities. The police chief further stated that officers recovered 2 fake promotion letters from Dahat to Araf Specialist Hospital, which the suspect claimed to have sourced from Facebook. 300,000 naira in cash believed to be proceeds from the scam, and urged members of the public who may have fallen victim to the scam to come forward with their complaints, and also advised residents to be cautious of employment racketeers and to avoid sharing sensitive personal information on social media. The commissioner warned those considering similar fraudulent activities to deceased, adding that the police would not hesitate to bring perpetrators to justice, stressing that the suspect remains in custody and further investigations are underway. Minister of State for Works, Bello Goroyo, has urged legal professionals to present themselves as key drivers in the ongoing fight against corruption and the promotion of the rule of law in Nigeria. The minister made the call in Sokoto State during the Young Lawyers Forum Summit organized by Nigerian Bar Association, Sokoto Branch, while highlighting the 8 priority areas of President Bola Tinubu's administration. He urged the lawyers to work hard and contribute their respective quotas toward the attainment of these noble objectives and cautioned young lawyers against the get-rich-quick syndrome and advised them to harness opportunities available within the bounds of the law to positively impact the nation's judicial and legal communities. In his remark, the chairman of the summit and chief judge of Sokoto, Justice Saidu Sifawa, admonished the lawyers to uphold highest level of professionalism and avail themselves of opportunities to expand their knowledge in preparation of the task ahead. Also speaking at the event, the General Officer Commanding the 8th Division of Nigerian Army in Sokoto, Brigadier General Ibukunle Ajose, urged the lawyers to use their legal knowledge to assist the less privileged and marginalized members of society, uphold justice and contribute to the betterment of society. On her part, the NBA chairman of the Sokoto branch, Rashidat Abubakar, reaffirmed the commitment of the branch to continue supporting young lawyers in the pursuit of professional excellence and career progression through discipline and knowledge acquisition. You're watching the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Welcome back. This is the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of the stories. Office of the Auditor General of the Federation has uncovered irregular payments for contracts amounting to 197.72 billion naira in rural electrification agencies. Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading PLC, a subsidiary of Central Bank Nigeria, as well as the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company and other ministries, departments and agencies in the country. The details of the findings were disclosed in the Auditor General's annual reports on non-compliance and internal control weaknesses, covering activities between 2020 and 2021. The violations include irregular payment for contracts and payment for jobs specially executed or not executed at all, as well as contravening the country's financial regulations and procurement laws, including 7.386 billion naira was the amount of irregularities in the award of contracts by 32 ministries, departments and agencies. The worst revelation of the report showed that the sum of 167.59 billion naira was paid for jobs or contracts that were either partially executed or not executed at all, and contravenes paragraph 708 of the financial regulations, which prohibit payments for services or goods not yet delivered. Similarly, the report also uncovered violations of due process in contract awarding amounting to 20.33 billion naira across 24 ministries, departments and agencies, and violations are against Section 16, subsection 21 of the Public Procurement Act 2007, which requires strict adherence to procurement plans and mandatory approvals before contract awards, while the audit report found that these requirements were often ignored or violated. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged President Bola Tinubu to probe the alleged theft of over 57 billion naira from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation in 2021. Serap, who made the call in a letter signed by its Deputy Director, Kolawale Oluwadari, said hundreds of billions of naira were reportedly missing from other ministries, departments, agencies and ministries, departments, agencies and the organizations called on the President to mandate the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fabemi, alongside relevant anti-corruption agencies to holistically investigate the allegations. The claims are detailed in the 2021 Auditor Report recently released by the Office of the Auditor General of the Foundation, and Serap said anyone suspected to be responsible should face prosecution as appropriate if there is sufficient admissible evidence, and any missing public funds should be fully recovered and remitted to the Treasury. The group also urged the President to utilize any recovered funds to address the deficit in the 2025 budget and impose an immediate moratorium on government borrowing to alleviate Nigeria's mounting debt crisis, stressing that there is a legitimate public interest in ensuring justice and accountability for the grave allegations. The Auditor General is concerned that the money may have been diverted and wants the money recovered and remitted to the Treasury, and also wants suspected perpetrators of the diversion to be sanctioned in line with the financial regulations. You are still watching the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break.
Aha! Is there anything?
Bro, I did tell you, this match 3-0.
Okay.
If I win you, something will come out.
Don't play with me. Fast ball, fast ball. Ah, you know what? You go shot.
Bro.
Now we got this match.
Keep the banter going with Glow Borrow Me Credit or Data. Dial *303# to borrow airtime or data and pay later.
Is there anything?
Go on, no one can only one thing I did it. Okay.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data. Glow Unlimited.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Nigerian Labour Congress says December 1st deadline for all states to implement the new minimum wage still stands. This is coming after on July 29, 2024, President Bola Tinubu signed the minimum wage bill into law after the legislation increased the country's minimum wage from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira. Also on November 11th, NLC announced November 30th as a deadline for all state governments to implement the new minimum wage for their workers after the union mandated its members to embark on an indefinite strike in states where the new minimum wage is yet to be implemented after the deadline. However, several states have signed the new minimum wage scheme into effect, with over 30 governors agreeing to set lowest monthly salary for workers at 70,000 naira and above, while Zamfara, Sokoto, Cross Rivers and Nasarawa, among others, are yet to reach an agreement on improved payments for their workers. NLC spokesman Benson Opa, while speaking on the deadline, said nothing has changed on the directive despite the majority of the states implementing the new minimum wage. National Association of Nigerian Students has urged President Bola Tinubu to review his economic policies to provide short-term, medium and long-term relief for Nigerians. The NANS clerk of the Senate, Abdul Yakin Odunayo, made the call in a statement released in Abeokuta, adding that the economic hardship is making life difficult for many people in the country, and also lamented that the current economic situation that has forced Nigerians to endure needless poverty and hunger. The state said the Tinubu-led government's simultaneous elimination of fuel subsidies and floating of the international currency has further sunk Nigerians into economic despair, increased hunger and hiked the cost of living for millions of residents. Odunayo acknowledged that some students have benefited from the student loan program implemented by Tinubu's administration, but called for a complete economic reform so that Nigerians can experience the good governance that the president promised. Nigerian Navy has launched the third edition of the French-facilitated maritime exercise codenamed Crocodile Lift. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, represented by the Flag Officer Commanding Naval Doctrine Command, Rear Admiral Shehu Gombe, said the exercise is aimed at developing skills for amphibious operations. The flag-off of the event took place on board Nigerian Navy ship NNS Kada at Western Naval Command, Lagos, and the Naval Chief said the exercise was similar to the just concluded ex-Grand African Nemo, adding that it also presented an opportunity for partners with a shared understanding of security objectives to deploy African-led solutions to trans-border threats and challenges. Ogala also reaffirmed the Nigerian Navy's commitment and readiness to enhance regional collaboration towards ensuring the safety and security of the common maritime space for prosperous economic activities, adding that the efforts of the Nigerian Navy, regional allies and international partners toward ensuring overall regional maritime security was evident during the recent concluded ex-Grand African Nemo 2024. And now ATN Business. Dangote Petroleum Refinery says he has reduced the price of his premium motor spirit from 990 naira per litre to 970 naira per litre, and this is the amount marketers would buy the products from the refinery. A statement on Sunday by the Group Chief Branding and Communications Officer of the Dangote Group, Anthony Chejina, said the reduction was to appreciate Nigerians as the year ends, adding that the refinery will not compromise on the quality of its premium petroleum products while assuring Nigerians of the best quality products that are environmentally friendly and sustainable. He said recently, both independent and major marketers confirmed that the pump prices of petrol has started reducing in many parts of the country due to the competition that the deregulation of the downstream sector has caused. The spokesman, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Chinedu Ukadike, said the agreement between Ipman and the Dangote refinery is gradually pushing down the price of PMS, and while also confirming the drop in prices, a major oil marketer said the development was due to the deregulation of the downstream oil sector. You're still watching the news in Atlantic Television Network. Up next, international tidbits. More than 80 people have been killed and 56 wounded in 3 days of sectarian violence in Pakistan's tribal district of Kuram near the Afghan border. The violence, which began on Thursday, erupted when gunmen attacked convoys of Shia Muslims traveling under police escorts and and more than 40 people, including women and children, were killed in that incident, triggering a series of revenge attacks between Shia and Sunni communities. After Sunday's negotiations, government spokesman Muhammad Ali Saif announced that Sunni and Shia leaders have agreed to a 7-day ceasefire, while provincial officials facilitated the talks despite reports that the negotiators' helicopter came under fire upon arriving in the region. The Kuram district has long been a flashpoint for tribal and sectarian conflict over land disputes with periodic violence between Shia and Sunni groups. Head of a leading international aid agency says war-stricken Sudan is in danger of becoming another failed state because civil society is disintegrating amidst a proliferation of armed groups. The two main warring parties in Sudan, the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces, there are many smaller ethnic armies looting and going berserk on civilians. Jan Egeland, head of Norwegian Refugee Council. He said the parties are tearing down their own houses, they are massacring their own people, and for 19 months there has been a brutal power struggle between the army and the RSF that has forced over 10 million people to flee their homes and push the country to the brink of starvation. In September, the World Health Organization says starvation in Sudan is almost everywhere, and some food security specialists fear that as many as 2.5 million people could die from hunger by the end of this year. Thousands of people have been killed since the civil war broke out. Rights groups have also expressed fears that there may be ethnic cleansing and genocide in Sudan. Here now is ATN Sports News. Premier League clubs have voted to approve changes to the league's associated party transaction APT rules in a significant blow for Manchester City. The likes of Newcastle United, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest joined Man City in voting against the changes at a shareholders meeting in central London on Friday morning, with the other 16 Premier League clubs voting in favour. The changes followed Man City's legal challenge to the league's existing ATP system, and both parties had claimed victory following the findings of the arbitration tribunal earlier this year. The tribunal found some of the Premier League's existing rules were unlawful, which the English top flight league have since moved to change at the first opportunity after consultation with clubs and independent experts, while Man City had written to 19 other clubs in the build-up to the vote. The citizens claimed the league's amendments remain unlawful and argued that no vote on amendments should be taken until the full response from the tribunal panel is received. Bayer Leverkusen striker Victor Boniface is suffering sidelines with injury. Boniface sustained a thigh injury while on international duty with Nigeria this week and was in action for 87 minutes in Nigeria's 2-1 home defeat to Rwanda in Uyo on Monday night. This is coming after Boniface was sidelined for several months last season after undergoing surgery for an adductor injury and is expected to miss Leverkusen's Bundesliga clash against Heidenheim this weekend. He has scored 8 goals in 15 appearances across all competitions for Die Wixef this season.